Hi, Tyler at Interfidelity here. Today we're going to talk about a new headphone from Audio Technica, the ATHMSR7. Really a fine headphone. This headphone is a full-sized sealed headphone, and it goes for $249, and it looks one heck of a lot like the Sony MDR-1R. So this is a headphone that Audio Technica came out with to directly compete with the Sony. I have to say, I think the Sony is a better looking headphone. It's a little bit lighter in weight, or a good bit lighter in weight. The Audio Technica has a bit beefier components. It's got aluminum on the shells, where it's plastic on the Sony. The pads are a little thicker on the Audio Technica, but because of the weight, and there's kind of a lot of clamping pressure out of the box on the Audio Technica, the Sony becomes a little bit more comfortable headphone, sort of. And I say that because one of the things about the Sony that can sometimes happen is your ear, the flap of your ear goes back into the cup in here. There's a couple of really sharp points back here that can make your ears hurt after a little while if they're touching it. So these are a little more comfortable unless your ears are pressed in there a little bit too hard. The Audio Technica, the ear cups are a little bit deeper, and the size of the ear cup is just slightly larger. They're pretty close. But in the back of the earpiece here, where the flap of your ear might touch, there's a rounded piece of plastic. So the flap of your ear can touch on these, but at least it's not hitting something that's sharp or pointy against your ear. So the other thing is that the clamping pressure is a little high out of the box, which makes them a little bit uncomfortable. And one thing you can see right here, and we're starting to see this a little more and more, is the Sony has a more curved headband than the Audio Technica, and that conforms to your head a little better. The new V-Moda XS, for example, has a similar shape. People are starting to catch on to the fact that you want the headband to have a little bit more curvature on top, so it distributes the weight on the top of your head a little better. The Audio Technica doesn't have that, and I've already bent them around a little bit, but inside the headband there's a place, and you can sort of see it there maybe, where I push the padding in, but there's a receiver up here that receives the arm extension. So there's a hard bit inside the headband till right about here. But after that, it's a metal headband. So this is all metal, which means that you can bend it around a little bit. And I did find that the padding, while there's quite a bit of padding, it's kind of stiff padding. It's not soft memory foam up here. You can also get a little hot spot on top of your head. So what I do is I squeeze the headphones in and bend the top of the headband together like that, so you got a little more pointy shape. And then out here, not where the receiver part of the plastic is, but right after that, when you can get on the metal band, I bend that part out like that. And that reduces the caliper pressure. So now, I mean, I've kind of exaggerated it, but now you can see the headband's got a little bit of a point up here, like the top of my head. But at any rate, at that point, they're quite, I think, quite comfortable, and you can adjust the caliper pressure that way, and they're a much more comfortable feeling. I did find that they were a little warm, though, a little warmer than most headphones, which is a little unusual. Most headphones get warm, but these got warm a little quicker than most. At any rate, I wouldn't call them a particularly, really comfortable headphone. There are some really comfortable headphones out there. The Sony, for example, as long as your ear isn't touching that pointy spot, is a really comfortable headphone. Well, anyway, so on the looks and the build quality and all that kind of stuff, I'd say the Sony is just a little bit nicer than the Audio Technica, but the Audio Technica is $249 and the Sony is much more expensive. I don't know what it is right now, but it's quite a bit more expensive, $399 I think initially. So it's a lower cost, and the sound is spectacular relative to the Sony. The Sony is quite uneven, and the Audio Technica has much better quality sound. We'll get to that in just a second. I got to finish up with the physical description. The accessories are kind of spare. It comes with 3 cables. This is a 3-foot 9-inch cable with a 1-button Android remote control. There's a plain cable just like this one, the same length, and then there's a 3-meter cable that uses the same cable, but it looks like the connectors are a little less expensive. It's still an okay cable. The connector on the player end of the short cables is a little clunky and fat, but it does have the snoot so that it can reach in through protective cases. It's got a nice strain relief on there that looks like it's going to do its job quite well. On the headphone end, there is a little recess in here before the connector body starts. So there is a little bit of a recess. In the article on innerfidelity.com, I did give the dimensions of this so you can know what it is if you're going to try to get an aftermarket cable. But so it comes with 3 cables and a fabric leatherish bag for transport. The headphones do rotate, ear pads rotate flat for storage and transport. So accessories not really all that great, but 3 cables may come in handy certainly, and that's okay. It's a low enough price at $249. Sound quality, wow. This is actually a headphone that doesn't play to my preferences. This is a little bit of a bright headphone, but it's done very, very well. The bass is fairly well extended and fairly flat. It has maybe a slight accentuation, but not very much. And then transition to the mid-range is good. It's all very nice. And then in the upper mid-range, it starts to rise up above 500 hertz or so. You start getting a rise in the mid-range up through into the treble region, into the presence range at about 2K, where it comes back down to being normal. And that makes this headphone somewhat forward and very present sounding and very, I shouldn't say very bright or very anything. It's because it does a good job of matching the target response curve, of being what I would consider a neutral headphone, except that it just has 1 or 2 dB low in the bass and 1 or 2 dB higher in that upper mid-range low treble region that gives it a bright-ish character. That isn't particularly something that I like, except to say that they do it very, very well. And the resolution in the upper treble is just excellent. I've been spending a lot of time this week blind testing the Pono player against a number of other devices, because that was one of the big concerns, that people couldn't tell the difference or something, and there's baloney there. And well, I certainly could tell the difference and pick out the Pono, but that's sort of beside the point. I did end up using these headphones as my evaluation set of headphones in that process because the resolution is so good. You can really, really hear very, very finely into the details. Of course, measurements confirm this. The impulse response and the transient response are very, very quick and has very little subsequent noise following it. So it does a great job. So yes, I'm absolutely going to recommend these headphones. In fact, one of my requirements for being on the Wall of Fame is they need to be able to be used as a reference in their category, and these certainly were that for me this week as I blind tested the Pono. They absolutely acted as a reference headphone in that category. So if you like your music a little bit on the bright side, these are a great headphone to get. They're going up on the Wall of Fame as an absolutely fabulous sealed headphone with a that are a little on the brightest side, but have absolutely tremendous transient response and detail recovery. Great job, Audio Technica, on these. I hope you get a chance to listen to them soon. They are quite special. And we'll see you guys the next time.